Hi, my name is Andrew with Lifeline. Today's video you're going to watch provides some tips on protecting your battery investment. As you probably are aware, batteries are one of the most neglected bits of hardware in the RV and marine industries. Knowing just a few key elements of how to care for batteries is going to go a long way. Now, the first category is to carefully scrutinize the charging equipment you're going to be using. For example, take your alternators. You're going to use your alternator to charge your batteries. There's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. First, you need to make sure that the voltage is regulated either via an internal regulator or an external regulator. Second, and even more importantly, if you're going to heavily rely on the alternator as a charging source, you're going to need to make sure you have the properly sized alternator to your battery bank size. The second thing is the multi-stage charging system that you have on board. Most onboard chargers today come fully automatic. You do nothing more than input the amp hour capacity of the battery bank. It does all the rest. However, there are some that do provide you the abilities to adjust battery charging voltages and the charge rates and time. Solar charging is another good way to charge your batteries. Most people these days use solar to just top batteries off, maintain batteries while they're being stored. However, if you do intend on using solar as a main means of charging, there's a couple of factors to keep in mind. One is you'll need to have a controller that regulates the voltage that you're going to throw to the batteries. And even more importantly, you need to make sure that you have enough solar panels or watts on the roof to do the job properly and charge batteries up. Here's one of the pitfalls that you fall into. Had somebody contact the shop the other day. They had a relatively small battery bank, a 210 amp battery bank. They were only discharging the battery bank down 50% of the way, which is 110 amps they need to put back in. This guy explained to me very carefully, hey, it's okay, I just recently installed 100 watts of solar on the roof to do the job. Well, once I did the mathematical equation for him and told him that it's going to take roughly 17 and a half hours to recharge, given the way that he's going, he knew he had to go ahead and make a big investment in solar to do the job properly. Storing batteries. Also one of the most critical stages of taking care of your batteries. The first part of this is to make sure you never let batteries sit in a state of discharge for long periods of time. Even if that state of discharge is only slight, that can cause damage over time, shortening the life of the batteries. If you're going to leave your RV plugged in, make sure that your charger settings are set up properly to adequately float charge the batteries and keep them maintained. If you don't have access to power to keep things charged up, as most people don't, one thing that you should do to maintain batteries properly, fully charge the battery bank up 100% of the way before disconnecting a negative cable. This way you eliminate any of the draws that can bring your batteries down. If you're not going to disconnect battery cables and you're not going to hook up to shore power, you will need to periodically visit the battery bank, top it off, keep things maintained. What we recommend with Lifeline batteries is that every 6 to 8 weeks you put a maintenance charge on the battery. There's a pitfall here to avoid. Every now and then I get a phone call from somebody that says, I store the RV for 6 months. It doesn't matter because I go there about every other month and I turn the battery charger on for half an hour, tops things off perfectly. After I dive into that a little bit deeper with them, it turns out they need to charge the batteries for maybe 4 hours to get them charged back up. They didn't even know they were neglecting the batteries for a long period of time. The third category, and this is the simplest of all, is to just use your batteries and cycle them. To give you an example on this, if you had two batteries functioning side by side, one that's plugged in all the time being maintained on a float charger, another one that's being maintained but periodically used, that battery is actually going to outcycle and outlive the other battery significantly. All right, to summarize, the three main categories for protecting your battery investment. First, scrutinize the charging equipment that's going to be used. Second, make sure you're storing batteries properly. And third, quite simply, just make sure you're using them. If you don't use them, you'll lose them. Hey, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this information useful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us anytime.